Yeah, perfect. And so fingers crossed this is working. Please, 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 please work.
Here we go.
Good boy, working.
Good talking. Finally.
Yes, and believe me, first of all, I gotta get this in.
Hmm.
It's like a cool intro. That's why we gotta get it in. Yeah. So I wanted to do this Facebook Live side by side today with Rishi. Rishi works within the property industry.
That's
Um,
true.
Basically, what we do from here, we want to find out a little bit more about how you work. What is going on with the property market at the moment, especially within the management side of properties, because you do in particular with residential properties.
That's
The
correct.
buy-to-let market is predominantly dominated by residential properties. So ultimately, what's going to happen is as the mortgage market is starting to get back to normal, as the valuations are starting to take place again, and that's starting to get back to normal, because the backlog that was there for over 3 months is now almost cleared.
Clear. Yeah.
People are going to start looking to purchase again. So what I want to do is introduce yourself, and hopefully you can give some hints, tips, more importantly, a little bit about your services as well in regards to property management and what people should be looking for.
Sure. Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Rishi. As Hadi just introduced myself, I work in the property management. I've been in that field for about 6 years now, and I work in different companies. And at the moment, we all know about the pandemic, which kind of like halted the market a little bit with regards to properties. And the big question is, will the property market pick up again? And because I deal mainly with renting and managing property, I will focus on this as our important conversation. And with regards to the rental market, there has been a decline, but when the lockdown started in March, and figures, as you can see, will say about 30% decline on the market, and which is quite not a big drop with regards to this time of the year, to be honest with you, because the property tend to decline a little bit in the during of March, April, May, June, and usually will pick up in June, July. And however, I mean, the forecast is the property market will pick up shortly in this month, but usually in June, July, that's where people tend to join the market, in the rental market mostly. And but what we can forecast on this particular period is it will be a late pickup. We are forecasting the market will pick up maybe in September instead of in June, July. Reason being is the current uncertainty. People don't want to move at the moment. They want to stay put and wait. What will happen to the job? What will happen? What the measures of government are going to bring forward? So it's not. To be honest with you, the property market hasn't been that badly affected. The rental market hasn't been badly affected, especially than mine. I deal mainly in South London, and we haven't seen any massive drop in demands.
Yeah.
So it's still there. Property market is still there to be explored, and we have enough people there, and obviously it will grow, and this uncertainty at the moment will bring more. People will prefer to rent at the moment instead of buying. And I believe, as yourself, Heidi, the mortgage is not. It's not. There's a lot of uncertainty with regards to mortgages at the moment, and those buyers will stay where they are until all these are cleared. So this will benefit, I believe, the rental market.
Well, I mean that's a very succinct way of putting it, and we're seeing that in the market. There's always fluctuations. This is in line with a lot of the normal cycle within the property market,
Of course,
and
yes.
generally, I'm seeing it when it was 2008 when the crash happened in 2007. More
Yes.
people were involved in the rental market than looking to purchase because
Yeah.
they weren't confident with it.
Mm-hmm.
They were more confident in renting, and for obvious reasons. And the capital appreciation may have declined,
Yes.
or may have slowed down in terms of the value of the properties, but the rents shot right up. So anyone who held on to their properties was making a lot more income.
Yeah, and if we can see a repeat of that happening again, I would say it will be same as the 2008 crash, but it have a similar trend that will happen with regards to the rental market.
Hmm.
So people can't buy, people won't have the power to buy, so they will have to rely on rental. So it will be any investor at the moment will be happy. I mean, should get ready to flock their property on the market. And I say there's not a finite property on the market. There's at the moment the figures say there's like about 5 million properties
Yeah.
on the rental market. So which is not to be that much. I'm talking about across England. I'm talking about so
Cool.
5 million is not a lot. So everybody will have the share of the cake, I believe.
Yeah. And by all means, if anyone's watching this, I always say this, please feel free, drop a question. Rishi's here to answer any of your concerns, anything that you feel, you know what, I need to ask this about the property market. One of the big questions I keep on getting asked is there going to be a dip in property values? Can I get in there? What do you feel?
Usually after the prediction is recession will be hitting the UK sooner or later due to the pandemic and to the situation. And as again, I'll take the 2008 example. There will be a drop in property market, obviously, but that it won't be a significant drop at the moment. From February 2020 today, the drop in properties is about 1.2, 1.3 for the moment, which is not a massive drop in price reduction in the price of properties. So if people are waiting for a big drop, I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will, because our property, our houses, our price of our houses is already reached like a is set at a limit at the moment. So they won't go any far below that. So, for example, property in the region of 400,000, the drop to make it sell, they will drop the price maybe by 10, 15,000.
Yeah.
But not more than that. Not more than that. You won't see a 400,000 house go down to 350 or 340. I don't think it will happen on that
Definitely,
on that scale. No.
and we saw that when in 2008, London itself, Zone 1 recovered within a couple of weeks. Zone
Yes.
2, a month. Zone 3 and 4, it took 6 months for them to get back to
To get
the original value and then push against the trend. Again,
yes.
the rest of the UK was a different matter. But, you know, in terms of the properties that you're seeing at the moment, you mentioned more residential-based properties.
That's correct. Yes.
Are you finding that there is a lack of residential properties coming into the market now? There's more people buying and holding, or
I mean, there will always be like a lack of property in the market. I mean, at the moment, many of our of today's person, they want a lot of people want to buy and settle down because they've seen the trend of how the property move. The price have from the past 10 years, the price of property keep going up. There haven't been a big significant decline in the price of property. So I think nowadays, especially you have young people nowadays have seen the trend and they want to get into the property market as soon as they can now. So, which is still affordable, and so there will always be a demand, and the supply is a bit scarce, and people will hold. Reason being is you have people who want to hold and invest, and you have people who want to buy for their own use. So you will still have this like tug of war between them, like keeping for investment, I mean like to use for rental on the rental market, and you will have and people wanted to buy to make their home. So this is one aspect which usually have a significant have an impact on the price of properties. Yeah. So, but
one of the questions that I was always asked is about tenants, especially in the rental market per se. Tenants, can be as good as gold, and they can be as vicious as you can get.
yeah,
For any potential first-time landlord, this is the first time that they're buying a buy-to-let investment. What would you recommend would be one of the best ways to protect, their asset, their investment?
I mean, first thing for is referencing. Always make referencing. I mean, that's one a big mistake. I mean, you have to spend about some money, £40, £30. I mean, they're worth to pay the £40, whatever it is for referencing or vetting and referencing. You pay that extra, and so you know why you do that. I mean, what I've noticed is you advertise how people advertise properties to be rented. You have tenants. You have 10, 15 phone calls per week, and the moment you mention we need referencing and vetting, that those 10, 15 phone calls you have will decline by half.
Yeah.
So it's about only 7.5 people who will be, even more than half, that will be interested in doing the referencing and vetting. So technically you remove all that, the first, I mean, people that you don't have a reference, and usually people who don't have a reference are usually bad tenants. That's how we view it. So so you get rid of, first, that's your first step, to get rid of those bad tenants per se. And secondly is you have to have good rapport. You have when you have your tenant to come in, you have to ask questions, a lot of questions, where they've been, why they are moving, why they are here, and why they want to buy your property. You have to dig a little bit in the history, and to find out what's the reason is pushing them to come to your property. And basically, you have to find out. The tenant has to satisfy you that I want to give you that property. Give me a reason why I should give you the property, money aside, because the price is fixed. Everybody who comes will pay that money. So give me a good reason. Because at the moment, the market is such a way that you have, I mean, the landlord does have this bargaining power.
Yeah.
Just as they need to use it. Don't go to the first tenant. You can advertise a property with no phone call with the first week or 2 weeks, but the call will come, definitely. Everybody, you have to be patient. Don't be in a rush to rent your property to anyone.
Now, I know you said about South London, that you covered a lot of the London area. In particular, Croydon, where I am, they brought in a landlord license, not just a HMO license, but a license for landlords as well.
That's correct, yes.
I don't know if that's still... Is that a thing going across the UK at the moment, or is that just a council by council basis?
It's council by council at the moment, so it is on the discretion of the council to apply it. And Croydon obviously have applied straight away, and there's a few other councils which have applied the landlord license. So this is for whatever type of property you're renting, you must have a license for that property.
Right. Okay.
So be it a house, be it HMO, you need to apply for the landlord license, and obviously as HMO have a different license for you to satisfy it as well. And glad you mentioned Croydon, because as from, I think it was 28th of January or 26th of January, the Article 4 came into force. So basically, in Croydon, you can't make HMOs without planning permission. Now, which have an impact on the HMO rental in Croydon at the moment, because I deal with HMO rental as well. I think the company I work for was the last one who received the HMO license, because it wasn't deadline day. We finalized all the paperwork, and it was like we were the last person in the council to get an HMO license in Croydon. And these are in great demand because there's no more HMO. I mean, obviously you have to go through the planning process, and the likelihood for you to get the HMO license at the moment seems it's very low in Croydon.
Well, again, even in Croydon, to do just regular converting two houses into a flat, a house into two flats. My mistake there. Sorry, I'll get that.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
The planning permission, the rigmarole, the paperwork you have to go through, the hoops you have to jump. Even if you're having it on one title, seems to be quite strenuous. So I know with Croydon that is the case, but I don't see that with other councils.
No, because I think Croydon is moving at the moment. Their idea is to have more family home in Croydon, and that's what they are they're moving towards keeping family homes in Croydon.
Yeah.
And that's what the introduction of the Article 4 is, to stop it, to eliminate, I won't say eliminate, but to make it more difficult to get HMOs in Croydon. And gradually, because their demand for them, they need family home, 3-bedroom houses. That's what they need.
Yeah.
That's what they need in Croydon. And there's also a social aspect to it. And we've noticed that where there is like HMOs, more HMOs, or small individual dwelling properties, and antisocial behavior are higher. The rate of antisocial behavior are higher. So I believe that's what Croydon is doing, is to trying to control the social aspect of the town for the moment. So to keep it like more family oriented.
For obvious reasons, we're seeing. If you look at West Croydon as an example, schools, when the very short radius have been developed, there's a lot of industries of Factory Lane.
Yes.
Amazon will be has got warehouses in Purley. It's huge in terms of the industrial complex. You've also got the HMRC, the Inland Revenue, Home Office, and I think some other government agencies in that big area, which is Central Croydon, next to the Whitgift Centre. So there's always going to be more investment and people looking to lay their roots. There was a lot of people. Oh no, he's gone. No, where did he go? Let's bring him back on camera again, see if I can add him. Nah, his internet disconnected. Guys, if you've been watching this, hope you've been enjoying it. If you have been, please say something like give me a wave or give me a quick tick. Right, so Carl's asked a quick question. It'll give me a chance to see what questions have been coming up, because they haven't been scrolling, funny enough. I'm having to go through it myself. Okay, here we go. What do you think is the future for the generations that come after us? Our children, for example, my parents bought their first house around £15,000 for around £15,000 years and years ago. Now we see we have prices in excess of around £300,000 for the same thing. With us now being known as the rental generation due to the huge rise, will our kids have any chances at all? Okay, right. In short, now this is my point of view. In short, yes, always there's going to be a chance. Lenders will readjust, because in order for banks to keep existing, they have to lend money. That's the crucial thing that people keep forgetting. They have to lend money in order to make money. So mortgage markets will always keep continuing, and what will ultimately happen is that the market will readjust itself so that you can get higher mortgages. So have no fear about that. It's just the nature of the beast at the moment. Plus, whether you're a Brexiteer or whether you are for the EU, regardless of what anyone thinks, a lot of companies are going to be taking a very close look at what they've got coming in and maybe their wages. The government will also have to be taking a lot of action as well to make sure things really do work. Yes, there is a lot of social engineering, and it will be a matter of moving people further out into other business district areas outside of London. London is still the area for people to be in, for obvious reasons. Rishi is coming back. I don't know what actually happened to Rishi, but yeah. So people will move further out. They'll move to Manchester. They'll move to Cardiff. They'll move to Newcastle. South Shields, Leeds, Birmingham. Most of these areas, people will decide to move a little bit further out. But mortgage market itself will look to address many of the issues that will be coming up. I'll do my best to add Rishi in. I'm approving him, but God, I don't know. Technology, huh? So have no fear, guys. That will happen. Rishi, I need you to actually, I am approving you, but you need to maybe restart your mobile because your camera is not on. So that might be the case. That's why I can't get you in. Okay, right. So Mark Willis asks a quick question. If the figures stack up, is it worth using an agent to deal with the lettings for you? With their sales and marketing budgets, might they get you more rent than letting privately? Okay, from my point of view, again, and Rishi will most likely agree with me because I think I can get him back on that. Because that's a very valid question. But my point of view, yes, use a letting agent because you want to protect the asset. Until you grow big enough in terms of as many properties
I'm back.
under a management system. Rishi, I'm glad you came back in.
Yes,
Okay, right.
some technical errors here. Yes.
What happened?
I don't know. It just went blank.
Okay, right. So
Yeah.
that's fine. So we had a question from Carl, which was in regards to future generations, and this is going to be the rental generation for now because the prices of properties have gone so high. So to get your opinion, with us now being known as a rental generation due to a huge rise, will our kids have any chances in the future at all? So, 5-10 years when
Yeah.
15-year-old kid becomes 25, will they be able to have a chance to buy?
Of course, they will have a chance. The property will be here, will be available, and obviously, the finance will be here as well. And I mean, the mortgage will be available. It's a finance is a big industry, and as the way they work is, they lend money and they get interest. That's how they survive. And obviously, they will have to find a way to get those young people, the future generation, the power to buy properties. So it might be it will be a struggle for them. It won't be that as easy as it was 15, 20 years ago. But they have to work. Mostly they will have new criteria, new criteria to satisfy to qualify for a mortgage. But it's something that everybody's working towards. Everybody's working towards getting a mortgage. Towards I mean, as I said earlier on, that people are aware that the market is moving very fast in the way with regards to the price and the availability of houses. So they have to tag along as well. Otherwise, it will be difficult for them.
Now,
But
Mark,
it doesn't mean that they won't be able to buy. There might be it's slightly difficult, but it doesn't mean they won't be able to buy property in the future.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Mark Willis has also asked a question as well. Hello, Richard. Thank you for saying hello, mate. Sorry about that. Richard Bathel-Jan. Right, so Mark Willis asked a very important question, and I think this will be your expertise. If the figures stack up, is it worth using an agent to deal with the lettings for you? With their sales and marketing budgets, might they get you more rent than you letting out the property privately? So this is the realms of private renting versus professional letting agents.
Yeah.
Because of budget and that kind of stuff.
There's different factors you have to take into consideration. Firstly is the property itself. What kind of property you have. Yeah. Maybe some properties you might find a struggle for you as an individual to rent out.
Yeah.
But you will have it easier to rent out through an agency. And obviously you get a decent amount, I won't say maybe better amount of rental income on that.
Yeah.
However, you have to bear in mind the commission of the agent and everything while they'll be renting the property for you, and the terms and conditions with regards to managing the property. Because most of the agent, when you talk estate agent, they don't want to take management on board. They will find your client, rent the property out without managing. The management part, it stays with the landlord. And sometimes is it beneficial for them? That's the landlord is in better position to answer. If he have time to manage his own property, all they have to do, what we suggest is to find the agent, to find them a prospective tenant, and all that they have to do is pay the agent the finder's fee, and they keep all the management and all the income comes to you. So I believe that's a better way for individual landlords to manage their property. They will have a better return, and obviously they will have to commit with regards to managing the property.
And if it's a limited company, because there's more limited company buy-to-lets or limited company rental guys coming onto the market now. You know,
Yes.
how would you?
If it's a limited company, I mean, obviously you have to take into account the purpose of the company. Basically, if it's only here just to buy the property and let somebody else do the management and the renting and the agent, their income received won't be as much as them doing all those work. So you have to take into consideration because the biggest thing in renting property is the management part.
Hmm.
I mean, finding prospective tenant is not a it's not a massive task. It's easily done. I mean, you have so many engine you can advertise upon. You have like uh, Quality Room, Zoopla, or anything as such. You can find tenants easily. It's the managing of the tenant which is the important. I mean, as a property manager, that the company will work. What we want is to sustain our tenant. So the trick is to keep a tenant for a longer period, as long as you can, and to build a rapport with your tenant.
Right.
So that's is the best way of managing your own property. You have to have a good rapport with the tenant, and you try to keep the tenant as long as you can. You don't want to change tenant every 6 months because there are costs involved with regards to you turning over to tenants quite regularly. So
Yeah, I know. There's few estate agents out there, mainstream estate agents, that actually want to have a yearly changeover of tenants, either
yes,
through charging higher rates and higher rents, or whether it is just a matter of, look, it's a tenant, we don't, you know, they've given us some problems in the past, maybe it's worth finding a
well,
new tenant. You
yeah,
know,
but
that,
then you have to balance that. You want to tenant, but new tenant with slightly higher rates. But why doing that? There's amount of you have to do a certain amount of work in the property to get a new tenant in. Whatever it is, once you move out a new tenant, there's always work to be done
yeah,
to get a new tenant, in a brand new tenant in. And so you have to work to figure out is it worth it? Because you are going to get, for example, another 50, 75 pound extra euro. You can't get 200, 300 pounds because the market dictates the rental value in the area, basically.
yeah,
So anything further, you have maybe 50 pounds, 70 pounds. But to get that, you will need to do work which worth maybe 3,000 pounds. And obviously, in that period, you will have maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks of your property empty. So you have to take all those into account. Whether is it worth it for another £50 per month? I'll go through all these hassle and all these expenses. So there's quite a lot of aspect with regard when it comes to managing your own tenant or letting the agent to manage your tenants. So it's
oh, and that's brilliant because basically there's going to be guys on this group that are renting as well, and we want to have that little bit of confidence that they're not going to be turfed out in the first, you know, within the first year. They're going to be
yes.
there for the long term and what they need to do to be there for the long term. So this is actually very valuable for them. The other things I was going to mention when we're looking at these kind of things is before I go any further, guys, if you're enjoying this, please give us a like. If you're enjoying, if we're answering your questions for you and we're giving you good enough answers, please let us know by a heart or care, like. If you don't like what we're saying, please give us a negative. All the feedback is always good because it helps us to improve, including me. So, you know, please feel free. Also, drop any questions that you want. We are here to answer it. This is our, you know, well, my special thing for you guys
Yeah.
to help you get more from it, from being a part of this group. It's not just about mortgages. Let's get you more. All right. So, one of the biggest issues that I've seen in the past with a lot of the management agents that they don't want to do full management. Actually, can you define the three stages of management? There's basic or finding the tenant only, then there's rent collection, and there's full management. What are the difference between those two?
Yeah, I'll say there's three different. I mean, you have the just to find the tenant, which is we call like okay, you only give a finder's fee. So what it is the agency will advertise. They will come. They will take the picture. They will of your property and they will advertise the property for you and get you a tenant. And they will charge you a fee for that. So for that, usually it's about in the region of £300 to £50. and they say, okay, here's your tenant. I'll find you somebody. That's it. You give him free. You give me free. You're happy with the tenant. You've done the vetting. You've done the whatever searcher. They're both the landlord are happy with that, and say, okay, fair enough. That's your tenant. You deal with him now. You give me the money, and that's it. And then you have another service that what they do is they will do the rent collection out. They will do the findings, the finder and the rent collection fees as well. So what it is every month they will collect the rent on your behalf from the tenant, and they will take a percentage out of the rent as for the services.
Good.
Yeah, but one thing you have to bear in mind in this service, if the tenant doesn't pay the rent on time, or they will do the chasing up if it's been paid once or twice. But with regards, if you have to go through the courts to get your rent or take legal action, then the agency won't bear any costs or be any part to it.
Yeah.
So it's only to do with collecting your rent and giving it to you, and they will take a percentage out of it, obviously. Which I believe is, I mean, it's personal view. It's something that you can do yourself because you save you some money on the way. And nowadays, with all the facilities, all direct debit, so I don't see a reason why you have people still use those services. And the third one is that include with managing the property as well. This means find the tenant, house the tenant, and they will manage the property with regards to repairs and maintenance. However, the cost of repairs and maintenance is still the landlord to bear. So they will, if for example the boiler is broken, I mean most of the time they will make sure that they will make the landlord to take insurance on particular appliances like boilers and oven and any appliances. But if there is any, for example, the tap is broken, not covered by the insurance, so that's where the landlords find himself in a way that either the agency will send somebody on their behalf to fix the tap, and the cost is paid obviously by the landlord. And there was usually how it worked is they will send him a quotation, and the landlord will decide whether to pay it or not. Or what they can do is the landlord will send his own maintenance person to fix the taps. But this will be defined in the contract what kind of services you are taking, because under some properties, usually the high-end one, they prefer to use their own contractors instead of having landlords sending their contractors. And obviously, it's the landlord who bear the cost. At the end of the day, agency don't lose anything, don't lose any money, or don't bear any costs, basically. So it's the landlord who always bear all the costs. That's what they have to, any prospective landlord have to be in mind. And
from what you're saying there, in terms of the breakdown of the services, it's always, especially from what you're saying, with the full management, it takes care of everything, including the maintenance of the property to a certain degree, appliances. So it saves a brand new landlord the hassle of having to arrange things themselves, because the headache is off the shoulders. Basically, from the services that you explained, it's a battle between cost versus convenience.
That's correct, yes.
But it's down to the individual what you feel is going to be right, and of course you've got various insurances to protect.
Yeah, it's not only cost versus convenience; it's also your profit margin as well. As a landlord, obviously you're right to achieve certain margin of profit on a monthly basis. So I would say 70% or 60% of the people who are renting a house have a mortgage on that house.
Yeah.
And the idea, most people's idea is the rental will cover the mortgage and cost, obviously, with a little bit on the side as a profit. But if you are using agency, or you're using agency, or you are giving them the full management, obviously there's cost involved that you have to pay them. There's their commission on that bit. So you will end up with not a big profit margin. All you will have is maybe just cover your mortgage costs. I have seen many landlords who yes, have a property, have it on the market, but don't want to do anything about it. I mean, don't want to get involved in anything on the property. Maybe they're busy in their own career, which is obviously I respect. But at the end of the day, all the rental that the money you're receiving is just covering just your mortgage, and there's nothing else. So, is it worth it to just work? And I know it's an asset in the future, but for just receiving just the rental to cover the mortgage, I don't think it's worth investing.
Yeah, again, you know, each person to their own, and it's worth having the advice given to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that they can make that informed decision.
Informed
But
decision, yes.
many can't make the informed decision because many don't understand what's being offered to them. You know,
That's correct. Yes.
you can drive down any high street, you'll see a lot of estate agents advertise full management. Sorry. So, you know, you think full management? Yes, that sounds great. But, you know, knowing these different options, you know, some people may feel, you know what, you know, I've got a good tenant. I don't need anything more. You know, they will pay me direct because you've shown a way how to negate all those potential risks.
Yes.
In terms of chasing up rent, or in terms of getting, you know, what do you call it, maintenance out because of maintenance contracts. You know, like British Gas home care agreements where they've done it specifically for landlords.
Yeah.
And various others like HomeServe as well. Now it leads on to the next part, which is the most crucial part: malicious tenants. You know, for whatever reason, you can get a malicious tenant that can actually destroy part of the property, refuse to move from the property, especially as the council will say, look, if you make yourself homeless, we can't help you. You have to be evicted. So the additional pressures that go into the court system, you know, how would you look to, you know, what advice would you give people to negate those kinds of stuff?
Okay, that's that's a good. I mean, we have this issue. I have a personal opinion on that matter. Is that I have noticed many tenants who are being evicted in the property, so where the landlord need the property back, and we refuse to go, and especially when they will need the council support to find a property, and when they go to the council, it's I mean it's a misconception, but the council keep telling them, as you said early on, you won't get any support until you are evicted from the property, and obviously you have to go through the legal process, which is not an easy and nice thing to do. And there are more costs involved as well. And you have bailiff to be paid after. So that. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a fixed cost that you need to get your property back. And although the court will give you the opportunity to get your money back from the tenant, but I would say 7 out of 10 they don't have any asset for you to get any of your money. So obviously, these are the risks that landlords have to take. I mean, every business has a risk. This is one of the risks landlords have to take.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that this risk is increased because the council don't have enough property to house anybody themselves.
Yeah.
So what they do, they tend to shift the pressure on a temporary basis on the landlord, so they can work something out. Because I have received phone call from the council saying why I'm evicting a particular some tenants, and I have phone call. He said pleading to keep that tenant for another 2 weeks. The reason is they don't have anything. The council, they are struggling with regards to their housing and benefit so they themselves can't afford to give any evicted tenant the benefit that are required. So so this is it's a vicious circle, to be honest with you, Ali. Is that the landlord, at the end of the day, it's the landlord who pays the price, because it's his business, his investment, and it's his loss basically. But as a business venture, I think that you have to 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 just pick up yourself out and move on. And
Well, again, from now, this is from my point of view, and again, this reflects the general mindset that's applied to every mortgage advisor, which is if you are unsure, get landlord's insurance, get
yes,
rent guarantee, get protection against malicious tenants, put that in, have that to one side. Even if you need to use that little bit of profit, do
mm-hmm.
it because it protects you. You don't know what's going to happen in the year. Within the year, the tenants could be made redundant if they're working because of the reckless process is done like a mortgage process. What
Yeah,
is their income? Are they good enough? That kind of thing. So make sure you've got that to one side. That's there to protect you. And again, tax incentives that go behind it. We can talk about that all day long. But I'm not
mm-hmm.
going to do that. I'm going to leave it
Yep.
to an accountant. If any accountant wants to come on board, this is your opportunity.
Yeah.
So have those things there to protect you. That's the whole reason for having insurance. So we've talked about evictions of tenants and the court process and how long it can take and what because the councils don't have enough funding. So from this point of view, for the future, as a person's looking to grow their property portfolio, because no one wants to just have one property. They want to have
Obviously,
two.
yes. Mm-hmm.
You
I mean, before we come to that subject, I'd like to add something with regards to tenant, the type of tenant that you want in. Many people, I mean, many landlords feel uncertain when it comes to council tenants. They're like
Yeah.
people supplied by the council. I I have about 30 council tenants in my
Oh,
property.
does the council pay the landlord direct? Does it pay the management agent direct, or are they paying the tenants direct?
No, see, there are different types of council tenants.
Yeah.
There are different. So that before, obviously, as a tenant, as council tenants, I do have about 30. I think it's about 28, 30 tenants, and they've been with us for the past 2.5, 3 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and they are like long-term tenants, and
Yeah.
we don't have much trouble with them. We don't have any issues with them. And obviously, each tenant have different criteria with regards to receiving the money, the payment.
Mm-hmm.
What it is, some council gave you an incentive package.
Yeah. The bonds.
So, so you have to. It is obviously the duty of the landlord to have to explore that. So
Mm.
they will give you a certain amount upfront for. For example, they will offer you, okay, you take one tenant from me, I'll give you an incentive package for £2,500, and then I'll pay you monthly £1,200
Yeah.
for a property, like two-bedroom property. So you have this incentive package that you got already, which is like a bonus for you, and you will get your tenant. So your tenant will pay you directly. Obviously, they will get the money from the council, which the council will pay the tenant, and the tenant will give it to you, and it's all direct
Now
debit.
this is where I have to stop you for a second, because this was a massive change in the mindset when Labour were in government. This was
Yeah,
during the Gordon Brown era, when he took over, because the change in mindset was, council tenants can take care of things. The problem was when Gordon Brown came in, that's when the massive downturn happened. And what happened was that the council tenants actually kept their money. They
yeah.
didn't pay the landlord. The
Mm-hmm.
landlord had to go through the eviction process. And again, this is why I'm like, look, I think there's been a bitter taste left in everyone's mouth with
Yeah,
council tenants, because for the greatest number of years, with the council tenants being paid their money direct,
yeah.
they
I
haven't
mean,
paid it on to the landlords.
that's where the incentive package comes in.
Right.
That's where you get the for example, £2,500, which is what 2 month rent,
Yeah.
upfront to
Yeah.
you, with
No questions asked. It's
no
just done.
question asked. Yes, because that tenant want because of those previous. Oh,
What happened? I still got you.
Yeah, I got you, but it's just that. Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. I can
Yeah,
hear you fine.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so yes, that's what this incentive package is for now. Now,
Mm.
to to make landlord to get the tenant, and if the tenant doesn't obviously doesn't pay, or you have to rebate it. You have this the money, the
Yeah.
package to use to cover the 2 month cost you need to use to be evicted.
Right. Yeah, because that
So,
was the other thing. Because I know Lambeth Council was a great purveyor in the bonds. You know,
yes.
we give you 5 years up front and all the rest of that kind of stuff. Just got to take our tenants because we've got
Mm-hmm.
no properties. Because they
Exactly.
sold off
Yes.
all of their assets under the right to buy scheme, but didn't build any new ones.
Yes.
Um,
True. Mm-hmm.
and we saw it in Brixton with the gentrification in there, Stockwell, Clapham Common, those kind of areas. There was
Yeah.
nowhere to get them around.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, apart from out of the borough. And that had its own problems that went with it. But again, the biggest issue that left a bitter taste in people's mouths is the council have now wiped their hands clean. They've given them all of this, but now I need help to get rid of these
Yeah.
tenants.
Exactly. Yes. So.
You've wiped your hands clean. You're giving me more hassle. So
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, again, I'm putting in a negative that came from a long time ago. But
How long was it?
But from what you're saying is that, look, you've got a lot of protections in place now to overcome these kinds of things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is it worth then looking at council tenants?
Yes. I mean, I've been using them, and to be honest with you, the problem is I think the mentality have changed a little bit now because
Mm.
where they are is when they come to your property, it's nice property, they fit for their purpose, they will tend to stay longer as long as they can in the property because they will struggle to find another property.
Mm.
That's for sure. So I believe that I mean the negativity that people used to see with regards to council tenants have changed now.
Good. Okay, that's good to
Yes,
know.
yes. So
Um,
we happy with council tenants, but then you have tenants which come under the universal credit. So
yeah.
their rents are paid through to you, which is by the universal credit.
Does that go direct to the landlord? Does that go to the management
No,
agent?
nothing. No, it goes to
The tenant.
the tenants who is supposed to pay you. But those tenants which I tend to see, there's always a delay in payment. Not because of the tenants, it's because the universal credit have
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
we're
much
seeing that.
process and which causes delays throughout. So
Mm.
if landlords are taking counsel with universal tenants, they have to bear in mind delays will
Mm.
happen in the future. So they just because I know some landlord wait for the money to cover their mortgage or expenses, so they have to make arrangement for the delays as well. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're getting closer to the end of the program, and again, thank Rishi for being on here. We've got another 10 more minutes, guys. So if you've got any questions that you want to fire them in. Rishi, you've got him for 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Again, on the replay, you can ask questions on the replay. Leave a comment. Rishi will come back to you. I will come back to you. This is part of what we want to do, is help to give you guys more confidence through knowledge by talking to the expert, getting the expert on to give you more faith in taking the next big steps. If you do want to take out a mortgage to buy a property and feel confident that you're going to negate the risk factors that are definitely outside your control. You're not living with the tenants every day. You have to rely upon either the tenants themselves or someone else who's going to be able to manage it. Ask the questions. Feel free, guys. This is it. So let's see if we've got anything else. I'm just going to go through some of the comments. So with some of the comments. Again, Mark Willis, thank you so much for commenting as much as you have. First thing, I use an agent to manage, as you have 3 flats and have 60-year-olds and you don't have the time or desire for the hassle, which is exactly what we were talking about. It's time and convenience versus cost and making sure you save money. Yeah, I'm looking forward to helping you build your portfolio.
True.
Um,
I can't see the comments, so I don't know what to say. I can't see the comments.
that's okay. I know you can't see them. That's why I'm going to be talking about them.
All right, yeah.
Marcus, again, I found some agents have management teams that are not good or very expensive. Well worth asking locally for recommendations. Absolutely. And again, if you are the kind of guy that likes to go out networking, you will meet people who will be able to say, look, we will be able to do this, this, and this, and give the evidence behind it because of one big thing. If they can't live up to what you want, your expectations, well, guess what? If you're in a room of 20, 30 people, different businesses, that word is going to spread very quickly that this person that you've referred to doesn't do a good job. That's going to destroy their business. They can't afford that. So they need to be on top of things. So
And
networking places are always good to go.
And
Um,
can I add something on that highly
yeah,
quickly? Is when you're using state agent, make sure you get all the paperwork, go through all the conditions, and
yeah,
what. So you have to know what you are getting, and sometimes they will use complicated technical words. Feel free to say clarify any issues with you. So when you leave the state agent, the agency, you must be confident that what I'm getting from my property, what I'm getting from the money I'm paying.
yeah.
So you have to be very clear in your mind, and both between you and the estate agent as well, and the management company as well.
That
So
reminds me, one
they
other
must be
thing.
on the same wavelength. It's just that
Mm,
you can't, because what I've seen is that people will think, oh, I thought you will do that, oh, I thought this is included, oh, I thought, but that's the biggest mistake that landlord makes. It's
that
not
was,
about thinking you have to be sure and confirm and you have it in
yeah.
written or somewhere.
I was going to say as well, regulation. You know, again, from a mortgage advisor perspective, from an accountant perspective, solicitor perspective, there's regulators. You know, we're overseen by regulatory bodies.
Sure.
Now, remember, estate agency was one regulatory body, and letting agents used to have ALA behind them. I don't know who's now the letting. Is there now a governing body for letting agents?
Sorry, I was reading comment. What is it?
Is there now a governing regulatory body for letting agents?
No, they're not yet at the moment. Obviously, all I still look after with regards to the professionalism, I would say,
Yeah.
but not at the moment. No, no.
Oh, sorry. There was one question that Mark actually asked. I'm gonna go through that with you,
Sure.
which is a very good one. I'm looking to acquire properties in the Kent and Sussex area. Interested to find out how you're going. Interested to find out the people at the council to help you get tenants. So in other words, sourcing tenants in the council, where would be the best place to go in the local council?
I mean, obviously, it is the usually. I mean, it's the housing department basically.
Yeah.
So what we do is, I want to do. I mean, I know on the Croydon website they do have a section which says
Mm.
for landlord
Yeah.
to advert to contact them. And I believe the Sussex Council and the Kent Council does have a section on the
Yeah.
website for them to contact, and they will usually call you back with regards to, and we'll discuss about the properties. Yes.
Brilliant. Guys, if you've just tuned in now, don't worry, please watch this on replay. It's going to be on this page for as long as I keep it on the page. If you want to ask any questions of Rishi, you can contact Rishi direct by all means, and Rishi will have his. Rishi, how can people get in contact with you?
Or you can email me or phone me. I will, but I mean, try to avoid the phone. By email would be the best way
And what is your
for the
email?
moment. I will. Should I put in the comment? I'll put my email
Tell
in
you
the
what, yeah,
comment.
if you put
So
the email address in the comments, that'd be great.
yeah.
And by all means, email Rishi. Rishi has come highly recommended to me by many people. Some of the most trusted solicitors that I know of use Rishi's services.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, you know what? Oh, we've had another question come in. Oh, guess what? This is really good timing. I can't believe you've just actually come in at the last moment there, Mr. Ahmed. Hi, brother Nakwi. Rishi, I have just let a property on. I've just let a property on the basis I agreed to pay for some refurbishment by half to be completed. The tenants have literally taken over the property, hijacked it, and done the job, charging me treble or even quadruple the price. Wow. Hi, that's okay. All right. So, although it's a residential property, they've taken it on a commercial basis, i.e., they're running it as a childcare home and hadn't paid rent until this month, since tenancy was agreed on the 16th of December 2019. Okay, so this seems to be more of a breach of contract.
This is obviously this is a breach of contract, and also, I mean, they're using the property as I said as a childcare home.
Yeah.
And childcare home are only there's are they providers, or we have to find out are they registered, are they registered providers? Only registered providers are allowed to provide childcare home.
Right.
And if not, there are you can contact the council with regard to this matter, report it to the council, because this is they're breaching the law as well.
Okay, Mr. Ahmed, Khalid, I hope that you heard that. And if you have,
so obviously the contract has been. I would say the first thing is inform the council. The first thing is inform the council. They can't use that property for this purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Inform the council, because they're the local authority and they'll have the Ofsted department, because if they're dealing with childcare, then they're going to be on the regulation. And that regulations is going to be, CQC is going to be the Ofsted as well.
Ofsted as well should be getting involved, yes.
Yeah, they will get involved. They will have to inspect the site. They have to give the proper, and if they've done it legitimately and they're not paying you rent, well, that's legal right there.
I mean, with regard to the rent, you have to be a claim in court. But with regards to the use of the property, it's definitely an illegal use of. It's not what is been agreed in the contract, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's contract.
And to recover his money, he have to obviously again do the necessary court procedures.
Mr. Ahmed, if you have felt that we've answered the question and given you more faith and confidence, please hit that like button or the heart button just to let us know that you felt we've addressed your concerns. And this is because again, I'm kind of shocked by that, but I've also had personal experience of seeing what's actually happened. Again, it's in the Croydon area because they were quite harsh. Croydon Council can be quite tough.
Croydon Council is clamping down in the use of property at the moment. I mean, it was unfortunate because I have a good relation with people in Croydon Council, and it was unfortunate because of the COVID-19 they have to stop the progress. But since they put in place the Article 4, they are going through all the properties in Croydon to make sure that those properties have the necessary license to operate. And then you're talking about the landlord license, the HMO license, and they satisfy all the criteria to operate. I'm aware, I know there are many properties in Croydon which are read room by room and doesn't satisfy the HMO's criteria at all.
Yeah.
And
like
the council are targeting those properties. I mean, they were targeting until the current pandemic stop it, but sooner they will come back to on this issue again.
Well, now we've come to the end, guys. Rishi, thank you so much for being a part of this.
It's been a pleasure for having me, Harry. It's been a pleasure to be on this.
Thank you, guys. If for all those who've watched this, who have been a part of this, or watch on the replay, feel free, drop Rishi any kind of questions that may relate to property management. He's here to help you. He is in this group for you guys. I didn't railroad him in. I tried to. I'm glad that he's a part of this group, and the advice hopefully is invaluable to you all. Tomorrow, I will be dealing with the second charge market, both residential, buy-to-let, and commercial. So I'm here to make sure you guys get on top and get the edge in front of all of these kind of things. Get your questions in for me tomorrow. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Guys, have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. See you there.
Thank you, Hadi. Take care. Bye-bye.